Welcome back. All right, so now we're going to talk about the New York Islanders. As I continue to roll through the season previews, there's four teams left currently. And the New York Islanders, they're an interesting team in that they're the ones that people are going to pick to fall off. They're the ones that people are going to look at and say, well, clearly they're not as good as some of the other teams in their division. But it feels like we say that every year, and half the time they still end up making the playoffs. And with Patrick Roy behind the bench, I don't know that I want to bet against him. I don't know that I do. That being said, looking at scoring going back to 2014-15, right up until now, Brock Nelson is their leading scorer over the last 10 seasons, 768 games played, 261 goals, 244 assists, 505 points. Matthew Barzal's second, 500 games played, 128 goals, 314 assists, 442 points. Anders Lee's third on the list, 735 games, 250 goals, 187 assists, 437 points. Josh Bailey's next on the list. 651 games played, 118 goals, 285 assists, 403 points. John Tavares, 319 games, 136 goals, 170 assists, 306 points. Nick Leddy, 518 games played, 45 goals, 198 assists, 243 points. Casey Zizekas, 675 games, 95 goals, 115 assists, 210 points. Anthony Beauvillier's in the top 10, 457 games played, 102 goals, 107 assists, 209 points. Ryan Pulock, 486 games played, 48 goals, 143 assists, 191 points. And Noah Dobson rounds out the top 10, 317 games played, 40 goals, 151 assists, 191 points. In terms of goaltenders over that same time period, Thomas Greiss leads the way with a record of 101, 60, and 17. Ilya Sorokin next at 95, 65, and 30. Yaroslav Halak, 88, 65, and 19. Semyon Varlamov, 73, 59, and 18. And Robin Lehner rounds out the top five with a record of 25, 13, and 5. Now, looking at the last 5 seasons and where everything averages out, in terms of points percentage, the Islanders are 17th at 570 for a points percentage. Their goals for, 24th over that time period, 2.86 goals per game. Their goals against, that's their bread and butter. The goaltending and the defense keeps them in this, 2.76, which is 6th overall. Their power play, 22nd overall at 18.9%. The penalty kill, over the last 5 years, not bad at 11th, 80.1%, but weighed down dramatically by this year's number for that penalty kill. So looking at points this past season, they had a 573 points percentage, which was 15th, and of course they made the playoffs. Goals for per game, 2.99, that's 22nd. It's actually a little bit higher than the average over the last 5 years. Their goals against per game, 3.15, dropping to 18th. A lot of that, a slow season for Sorokin, and is part of what caused the coaching change in New York this past season. Their power play was 19th at 20.4%, not bad, but the penalty kill was awful, 32nd in the league at 71.5%. So when your power play is a little bit below average and your penalty kill is not good, it's going to weigh you down, and yet they still made the playoffs. Their top 10 scorers this past season, Barzal led the way, 80 games, 23 goals, 57 assists, 80 points. Noah Dobson second, 79 games, 10 goals, 60 assists, 70 points. It will be interesting to see if Dobson can basically equal or surpass that total this coming season. Brock Nelson, 82 games, 34 goals, 35 assists, 69 points. Bo Horvat, 81 games, 33 goals, 35 assists, 68 points. For Kyle Palmieri, 82 games, 30 goals, 24 assists, 54 points. Anders Lee, 81 games, 20 goals, 17 assists, 37 points. I think he's going to score a little bit better this year than last year. He was really snake bit last season. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, 82 games, 11 goals, 22 assists, 33 points. Pierre Engvall, 74 games, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. Holmstrom, 75 games, 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points. And Riley, 59 games, 6 goals, 18 assists, 24 points. Seems to have found a home for himself in New York. He's still an Islander this season. So their top 2 goaltenders, Sorokin and Varlamov. There was a time not too long ago where you would rotate the goalies. Sorokin then becomes the main guy, but down the stretch this past season, Varlamov was the guy. Sorokin ends up 25, 19, and 12, 909 save percentage, 2 shutouts. For most goaltenders, 909 is a really good save percentage. For Sorokin, it's off a bit. For Varlamov, 14, 8, and 4 record, 918 save percentage, 3 shutouts. We'll see who Patrick Waugh goes with and how he rotates his goaltenders. So, for Rookie Watch, I just put one guy up there. Maxim Siplikov, who has been signed in this offseason, and we'll see. They're going to try. They're going to try to get goals out of him and points out of him. We'll see how it goes. Maybe he ends up on that top line, so what the heck. I threw him there. Maxim Siplikov alongside Bo Horvat and Matthew Barzal. I don't know if he stays there, but I figured why not. Second line, Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri. Again, I feel like Lee's due for a bounce back, but we'll see, right? That's a very veteran line right there. And then you've got the newly added Anthony Duclair, Jean-Gabriel Pageau, and Pierre Engvall. So Anthony Duclair may very well end up in a top 6 role, especially if Siplikov has struggles out of the gate. We shall see. But Siplikov is the real wild card here. Kyle McLean, Casey Cizikas, and Simon Holmstrom rounding out that fourth line. And, of course, keeping in mind that they apparently haven't closed the door on Matt Martin. So, we'll see what happens there. They haven't closed the door on Cal Clutterbuck either. At this point, they have not signed tryouts. There was rumors maybe they ended up in Toronto on a tryout. We'll see. But when Lou Lamoriello says the door's not closed, he's serious. Just like he's serious about the whole long hair and facial hair thing. It's weird. Anyways, the extras, Liam Foudy, Cam Thiesing, Frederick Karlstrom, Oliver Wahlstrom on the extras just kind of blows my mind, because even though Wahlstrom hasn't had a great past couple of seasons, doesn't he belong in at least the top 4 lines? So we'll see if Wahlstrom's a member of the Islanders come this fall or what happens. But it does feel like he should be on a roster somewhere. I don't know if he's going to end up playing in this Islanders lineup or how this is all going to work out. Hudson Fasching's another one. Fasching's looked pretty darn good for the Islanders when he's been in the lineup. You've also got Julian Gauthier. William Dufour, who was highly thought of a couple years ago. It hasn't quite panned out yet at the pro level. Maybe this is the year. And Tice Thompson, brother of Tage. And, of course, Logan Thompson. Top 6 defensemen, Alex Romanov alongside Noah Dobson. And then, of course, you've got Pulock and Pelech. Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech. Those two belong together. Drives announcers nuts. Mike Riley and Scott Mayfield rounding out what is a pretty solid top 6. This defense should still be pretty good at preventing goals and keeping the puck away from the net. Your extras here, Grant Hutton, Samuel Bolduc, and Dennis Cholowski. Cholowski still playing. And the top 2 goaltenders, we know, Ilya Sorokin and Semyon Varlamov. And a lot of what's going to happen with this team this upcoming season is going to depend on how well Sorokin bounces back and Varlamov keeping his game at that top level. For an extra, they have Magnus Hogberg, who will be in Bridgeport, and we'll see if he gets called up at some point. But barring injury, I don't see that there's going to be any need to worry about who the third goaltender is in New York, but we shall see. Another year gone, and veteran goaltenders, you never know, right? Cap space, according to Puckpedia, there isn't any. They do not have cap space. And I was looking through it. It looks like they're right at the cap. So Lou Lamoriello stays right at the cap. We can have the debate over the contracts he signs and not having cap space and all this. But again, as long as this team overachieves on the ice, I mean, it's hard to call for Lou Lamoriello to be out of a job or anything when really this team has overachieved for years. So at least according to expectation. Now, in October, they have 5 out of 10 at home. In November, bit of a tougher schedule. 9 out of 15 games are on the road. In the month of February, where we have the Four Nations Cup, 2 away from home, 1 at home, 2 away. So 4 out of 5 away from home. Then they have the Four Nations Cup. Then they have 2 at home and 1 away. So be interesting to see how that all turns out. And then in April, 5 out of 9 are at home down the stretch. So maybe that benefits them a little bit, especially if it's another dogfight for those last couple of playoff spots in the East, which it very likely will be. I'd be very surprised if we don't have a very similar, hotly contested run right down to the very last night of NHL action this coming season. The Stanley Cup odds, not in the favor of the New York Islanders, and I don't think that would be expected either, plus 4,400. So they've got longer odds than, honestly, I think they should. But again, they do get underestimated often, and it is Stanley Cup odds, meaning, do you think this team will win the Stanley Cup? My answer to that would be no for the Islanders, but Patrick Roy's behind the bench. They've got good coaching and good defense if he can get on a run, right? The channel vote, not optimistic they're going to finish first or second. 3% of the vote went to first or second. 34% went to third or fourth. 52% say fifth or sixth. So the channel is pretty convinced this team won't be in the top half of the division. And 11% say seventh or eighth. So 11% of the vote saying, nope, this Islanders team is going to fall off. And I think the expectations based on the fact that you do have a lot of veteran older players. And it is not a roster you look at that looks fantastic. But keep in mind that Horvat, Nelson, and Pajot as your three down the middle, that's not bad. You don't have that explosive offensive forward, sure. But you do have some good face-off skill with Horvat. And their puck possession game's been relatively strong over the last few years. And adding Duclair may very well be one of those low-key additions that works out pretty well. So it's going to be an interesting year for the Islanders either way. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are the Islanders a playoff team or not? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.